This video is produced by Sailrite. This video will walk you through the steps of building a zippered pillow sham, or sometimes referred to as a fancy pillow sham.
Okay, in this video we're going to show you how to make a pillow sham for your bed, which you can unzip, and you've got your pillow inside here. Okay, we're making a contrasting framework to go around our pillow form, and we're going to just do a double fold on the framing around it. So we want to cut these double what we want it to finish at. They're going to finish at 3.5, so we're cutting these at 8. That way you've got a 1/2 inch. Once it's folded over, you'll have your 1/2 inch seam to take, and you'll end up with a border of 3 inches around your pillow sham.
The width of this frame can be modified for your particular pillow.
And we're just going to cut 4 pieces, and then we'll cut them down to fit the pillow size as we go, which is the easiest way.
Deb's just marking the fabric so she can draw a straight line with the ruler. We're using Sunbrella Furniture Fabric, and we'll use a hot knife to prevent the unraveling of the fabric.
We cut them out with a hot knife again to keep from edges fraying on us. You can also use pinking shears.
Using regular scissors is acceptable, but the fabric will unravel slightly.
Okay, this is the framing part. We cut our 8-inch strips across the fabric, and now we're folding them in half. And then we're going to set them aside until we have the body of the pillow cut. Okay, in order to get your panel size, what you're going to do is just whatever pillow you have. This one's a super king size pillow. You might have standard pillows or whatever, but the sham that you want to put over it, you want to measure your pillow that you're going to put inside, and then add a couple inches to either end of it, because you want it to be a loose fit and easy to get your pillow in and out of. So you just take your pillow that you're putting inside the sham, take the pillow out, take a dimension measure of that, and then just go ahead and add a couple inches on the length and a couple inches on the height of it. And that's how we came up with our section for the panel for inside the sham.
Once you determine those measurements from your pillow you'll be using, mark it on the fabric. You'll need 2 panels. Then we'll use a hot knife and cut it out. You could use pinking shears or regular shears.
Okay, now we have our framework around the insert here, and the reason that we've cut these longer is so that we can miter the corners easily more than having to take 4 or 5 different measurements. Now, you don't have to have it the whole width of the fabric like what we did, but you do want to make sure that it is 10 inches longer than what the ends and what the side of your pillow is. You're going to need at least that to come out your 45 miters at the corners. The easier way to do this is to just take the corners. You get the corner of your fabric, and then you have this crossing over. Just take your ruler from the inside corner to the outside corner. And strike a mark there. And then you'll lift this piece up. And take the mark to the back, same as the front. You can lift this down, put this down. That'll work out better for you. And from this corner to the corner here, miter your line. Okay, and then what we're going to do there is take it in a 1/2 inch. And put a mark a 1/2 inch inside. Strike that line, and that'll be your cut line because you'll be a little bit inside to fall tight. So what we're going to do then is cut this piece off here, We're going to do the same thing down here.
Each one of these half-inch measurements at the miter is shortening the panel length, not lengthening it.
Because your piece is being mitered this way with a half-inch shorter. Once they're sewn together, they'll fall inside the half-inch mark here. So we're going to do that to all four corners. Okay, so now we have our framework all laid out here. As you can see, the lines are drawn, and we've made it a half-inch in, which makes it shortening. Once we get them sewn together and they come in to where they're going to be sewn here with a half-inch off here, you'll find that they'll fall just perfectly on the corners. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut this at the angle that we have drawn. And if you would like, you can base this edge together. You just want to be sure and stay back a little bit because we're going to be joining each corner together.
What Deb is referring to is using the double-sided seam stick, part number 129.
As you can see, we're going to end up with a point like so. Okay, so we're opening up our 8-inch piece that was folded over for our frame and sewing the points together.
The outside surfaces are facing each other.
Lay them on top of each other and just do the half-inch. You want to do some back stitches right off the end. And then turn for your half-inch, and the same thing, you want to do back stitches off the end, and then back stitches off the end, just to keep it from coming apart. Back stitches here are mainly because when we fold this out, we're going to have so much bulk in here. You want to cut on this corner here, inside of your stitching, and just take some of that bulk out. This is a heavier fabric. If you're using a lighter weight fabric, you don't have as much bulk, but you want one seam one way, one the other way. Push them through the other side, and you end up with your mitered corner. Just like that. Finished on both sides. We have the 3 corners sewn together there. Now you might want to lay it down each time just to make sure that you don't have one twisted around, because once you sew that together, you're not ever going to get that twist out. It's just going to twist to the next piece and so on and so on. So you want to make sure the right side's out. Okay? And just take these here. And then this will be the last seam on our frame. Okay, now we're going to sew around the inside perimeter of it, just right at the very edge. We can cover it up with our half-inch seam, but we want to keep this stable when we're sewing it on both sides, so we're going to go ahead and sew around it.
We don't want this stitch to be any further than a half-inch in, because otherwise it'll show up, so it's going to be very close to the edge.
Close to your edge as possible.
We'll go all around the inside of this frame.
Now we have our frame all built. Inside edges are sewn so that they're not shifting. We're going to mark our center first on the frame. And you want to do that on either side of the fabric.
To find the center, fold the material in half at the miters and then just mark it with a pencil, both sides. Do that to all 4 of the frames. We'll do that same procedure to the panels. We didn't show that. We did that to both panels.
Now that we have the frame marked on our centers, and then mark our panels on the centers. so that when we're sewing it in, we can match up centers, ends, and on the top and bottom. Okay, now we're going to sew in our first panel. It'll sit inside of our frame just like so. We're going to measure our zipper off because we want the zipper to be the same length as the panel. So we'll go ahead and mark that where we're going to cut the zipper off at. And this is a continuous zipper, so we can put the slide onto it.
To install the slider to the continuous length zipper, Deb pushes the small end of the slider onto the zipper, then pulls the two sides apart and it slides right on.
Go ahead and cut this off.
Zippers can be cut with a standard pair of scissors.
And then this will be our zipper that'll get sewn into the underside of the panel. First we're going to put this panel in, then we'll sew on our zipper to the back side. Okay, so in order to get this in, I'm going to place the frame at the top, start at your center,